Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Duke, and this is my YouTube channel. I'm really forcing myself to make videos at this point. Can barely motivate myself to make videos. Is ignoring the truth really bliss? What do I mean by that? Ignoring the truth is denying who you are spiritually and living a lie. Living the lie would be you believe you're a race, you believe you're an age, you believe you're a sex, you believe in a personal story, your personal story. You believe you're a body that ages and dies, and there's only two ways out of this. You either get sick and die, or you get in an accident before you get sick and die. There's no way out of those two things. A lot of spiritual circles or young people will have all kinds of fantasies about that's not going to happen to them. But as you get older, you get around, I'm around 50, and I've watched people drop like flies. All my grandparents and many relatives, and people that I know who know people that died. It's just, everyone dies in a short amount of time. Average human lifespan 79. Most people don't realize just how quickly that comes. Most people don't question it either. Like, why is the world the way it is? Why is the world filled with... There's this constant theme of guilt, betrayal, deception, one or the other, sacrifice that one person can gain off another's loss. The Course in Miracles explains it as our real problem is unconscious guilt. Unconsciously, we believe that we separated from our source. So every person who walks this earth is carrying this this belief that they sinned, that they separated from their source. When in reality, metaphysically, we know that it's impossible to separate from oneness. Only an illusion. And the world is an illusion or a dream state of the mind or minds, however you like to think of it, entertaining the idea of separation. It was kind of like a curiosity. What would it be like if I could lose my superpowers? If I could be on my own, if I could be born and die. That's kind of the story of the fall from grace, or the biting of the apple, the knowledge of good and evil. So our whole life is really this theme, and we try to cover it up. We try to cover it up by accomplishments. We try to cover it up by virtue signaling. Look at how good of a person I am. Or we try to cover it up with reproduction. Producing more bodies, special relationships. All our relationships are special. We have grandparents and parents and husbands and wives and sons and daughters, and when in reality, everyone is the same dreaming mind. We're all, in a sense, our true identity behind the brain body, behind the ego and all its fantasies. We're all the same. It goes back to the same self. So it's like, that's what I mean when I say to ignore the truth of who we really are. And in Christian terms, it would be like denying Christ. We deny the Christ within us, and we live a lie, an ego-based life based on guilt, the belief that we sinned or separated. Now we try to do the best we can in a world that was designed to substitute. The whole world is a substitute for our identity that we gave up before the fall from awareness. And that's how you understand religious myth. Is really just a way to describe something that's very hard to understand metaphysically. So we have myth, we have stories, we have allegories, to try to scratch the surface in understanding this. All right, so I'll take it apart a little farther. So this unconscious belief, this unconscious guilt that we all carry, is the belief that we separated. So that's why we're continually in a state of lack. The whole world is a reflection of that choice to be separate from God or source or love or oneness. So the whole world is, you have to constantly keep taking a breath, because we're constantly in lack of oxygen. You have to constantly eat food because we're constantly in a state of lack, trying to nourish ourselves. So we sacrifice the bodies of plants and animals to sustain our separate body. Everything here, in a sense, is a sacrifice. We're constantly, I need more money, and that's why even with like billionaires, they'll even feel in a state of lack. They could have billions and billions of dollars, but still they feel as they're not at peace. They need more. Now they need power. Now they need something more than money. And anybody will really testify to that. You can delude yourself and get on the happy manifestor train, and you can change your thinking and undo the guilt of your past programming. If you have poverty thinking, for example, you'll attribute your unconscious guilt to your childhood. That's where psychiatry or psychology fails, is they only go back to your childhood. And usually, and you see this unconscious guilt reflected too in race. All the races have a victimization script. And you'll notice the whole world, it's all about pointing the finger. Who's the guilty one? Most people say they don't feel guilty, or what are you talking about? Unconscious guilt. It's unconscious. Most of the time we're not consciously aware of it, and we look to project it or see it in others. That's why we're so fascinated that one person, one body can commit an act, and we say, that person did that, I didn't do it. This is how the mind disassociates itself. Victim and victimizer are actually the same one. Although to understand that at the ego level, it seems insane. It seems impossible. So you have to really take care when understanding these metaphysics, these underlying metaphysics. Let's see. I keep saying but trying to get my verbiage better for these videos. Let me pause for a second. So let's see, where am I going with that? So yeah, you can start changing your mind by forgiving your guilt. You forgive the guilt by, the world becomes a classroom where we learn to forgive our guilt by, rather than staying stuck in the blame game, the he said, she said, who fucked who consciousness is what I like to call it. You realize that everything you're seeing outside of you, all the bodies and all the separate people, are actually a projection of one mind. So you realize that everything you see in other people is actually coming from your own mind. You don't take responsibility for the behavior of other bodies' acts. You got to make that clear, of course. But you realize that when you turn on the news or whatever, and you hear about a horrible crime or whatever, somebody deprived somebody or victimized somebody, you don't think, well, everything's all one, I did that. It's not like that. You just see it as that's a reflection of my own decision to be separate from my source. Underneath every attack is really a call for love, is what the Course teaches. Underneath every attack is really a call for love, because it's calling out for love, saying, please show me I'm wrong. Please show me that my thought system of guilt, fear, and separation is wrong. Because everything in our world proves separation is real, and perfect love is a lie. Everything here, like I said, it's based on sacrifice, murder, and attack. Nature is really murder. The bigger animal kills the smaller animal. It's not that the whole world's evil, live spelled backwards, kind of is. You know, like that church lady, it reminds you of somebody like Satan. You know, it's been said too, this is Satan's world. You know, this is Satan's world, and in a sense it is. But you know, it's like, then you say, well, why is there all the beautiful stuff in the world? You know, it's a dualistic dream of good and bad. Good and bad is really two sides of the same coin. Because you know, people will say, well, you can't have good without bad. But beyond good and bad is oneness. You could say that's ultimately, it's kind of like we fell from grace, we forgot who we are, we made up a world, an alternative reality, the other game in town, and we're wanderers from home, like the prodigal son. We wandered from our kingdom, and now is the return journey. The return journey is we learn to love and forgive. I guess that's the simplest way I could put it, is to love and forgive ourselves for making the decision to be separate. And we make the decision to be separate every time we hate, we condemn, we judge others, we project the guilt outward. You know, we have to own it. You know, it's the only real problem we have is our unconscious guilt. That's the only thing that really needs to be healed. Yeah, the healing is a process, which I hope to be able to elaborate a little more on all this. There's a lot more I can articulate and elaborate on this. It's just I feel like I'm not fully accessing all of my vocabulary and my ability to articulate these things just yet. That's the purpose of making these short videos. So it's really all, I guess it's all for me to, this is my learning process. So hopefully somebody benefits. I know the internet too is just a source of, you know, it's just so, everyone has all these different views, you know, there's division in everything, the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. That's a whole nother topic too. It's, but yeah, I'll look forward to talking to you guys more on videos to come. So thanks for watching. Remember, if you like the content, to subscribe and hit that bell, and you'll get notified when I make new videos. Thank you.